Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my fucking YouTube channel. My name is NapesCape, and most of you guys might know me from the Stoner Talk podcast that I record with myself and Brian, where we like to drink, smoke, chill, talk about life, talk about art, talk about music, and then sometimes fanboy over Marvel and DC. And I also make music. I recently released an album that's called Zero Likes, Zero Plays, Zero Followers. It's out now on all streaming platforms, so make sure you check that out. And I also have another album that's called Refined NapesCapian Girly Pop, but the official version can only be found on my Stoner Talk podcast YouTube channel. So make sure you check that out. And today I'm going to be talking about Blacktain America, Brave New Minority, and why I think it's one of the gayest movies that came out this year. So the movie pretty much opens up with President Ross, who's General Ross, giving the speech, but he's elected president now, so he's the president. And then it cuts to Sam Wilson. He's stopping some sort of like drug deal or something, a delivery, and he's fighting these soldiers, and it reveals his new power, which is the same exact thing that Black Panther can do, right? So then he goes into the building and he saves some hostages, and then after he saves them, he fights Sidewinder, but he gets away and he fights this normal guy who pretty much ends up kicking Sam Wilson's ass, which kind of shows that he's weak and he doesn't have the serum. And then after that, Sam ends up beating him, saving the day. So then he ends up taking Jose Torres to meet Isaiah Bradley, and they train together. And then Isaiah tells Sam that he's not happy that Sam's working for President Ross because he doesn't trust President Ross. But then either way, all three of them end up going to the White House because they were invited for some special event. But then before the event starts, President Ross asks Sam Wilson to pretty much start a new Avengers team and then to be the leader. And then Sam tells him that he'll think about it. And then after that, the event starts, and it's pretty much President Ross saying that the countries of the world need to work together to go to that celestial that's in the middle of the ocean from Eternals, right? That like apparently that there's adamantium on the celestial, so they need to mine it together. But then randomly during the event, Isaiah Bradley goes fucking crazy, and he ends up grabbing like one of the security guards' gun, and he tries to kill President Ross, right? And then 5 other people as well get hypnotized, and they try to kill presidential leaders, I guess. And then freaking Sam Wilson, this little Black Widow right here, and then Joaquin Torres end up saving the day. And there's a wild chase where Sam Wilson chases Isaiah Bradley, and then he ends up being caught by the police. And then once he's caught, Sam Wilson tries to convince President Ross and the Black Widow that Isaiah's innocent, but then they don't believe him. So Sam Wilson goes to visit Isaiah in prison, and then he kind of tries to hear Isaiah's side of the story, and Isaiah tells him that he doesn't know anything about it, and he tells Sam Wilson to leave him alone. So while Sam Wilson is driving home, he gets stabbed in the chest with a knife, and he takes an axe to his liver, and then he gets shot in the stomach with a freaking revolver, and then somehow survives. And then Black Widow goes to visit the prisoners in the prison, and one of the guards gets hypnotized and kills them all, and then kills himself, right? After that, President Ross meets with the president of Japan and tells him they need to work together. But the president of Japan knows that Ross is shady as fuck and doesn't trust him, right? So then Sam Wilson and Carlos Torres end up visiting the leader in his hideout. And then he ambushes them with some soldiers. And then the soldiers pull out freaking taser sticks on him, bro. And then as they're trying to get away, Black Widow comes and saves them, right? This 4'11" girl, right, ends up beating these 6 feet tall, 200-pound men easily, and all 3 of them get away. So then everybody ends up flying to the Indian Ocean where the Celestial's at. And then the president is there and the warships are there. But then the Japanese fleet and the American fleet end up firing on each other. So Sam Wilson and Felipe Torres end up saving the day by intervening, where Sam takes a ballistic missile head on and then explodes another one. And then when Enrique Torres tries to do the same thing, he pretty much almost dies. So then President Ross has to give a speech about what happened, but then he ends up getting hypnotized by the leader and turns into Red Hulk, right? So Red Hulk pretty much freaking sends Sam Wilson flying, throws some concrete at him, launches him with a punch, right? And then after that, Red Hulk ends up tackling Sam Wilson through a freaking building, right? And then after he tackles him through the building, he throws a tree at Sam Wilson, and then he sends Sam Wilson flying again, right? Sends his ass flying. And then after that, he freaking tries to hit him with the pole but can't. And he sends Sam Wilson flying one more time with the punch. And then he's smashing Sam Wilson's head. But Sam Wilson ends up stabbing him, right, with a little piece of his wing. And then President Ross hits him one more time. And Sam Wilson is able to defeat President Ross by stabbing him in the stomach and then doing the Black Panther move again, right? Actually, it kind of looked like it hurt. But then they're both incapacitated. And then Sam Wilson does the Natasha, right, on President Ross. Slurps him up and then it calms him down, right? And then the movie ends with Sam Wilson visiting President Ross in jail. And that's pretty much it. So something that Brian always tells me, right, is if you're going to criticize something, you got to start with the good and then you got to talk about the bad, right? So some good things that I liked about this movie, I guess, is I kind of like the relationship between Isaiah Bradley, Juan Diego Torres, and Sam Wilson, right? Because I thought Isaiah Bradley was pretty cool. He's like one of the cooler characters, I would say, of Marvel, right? He's like pretty much a super soldier who was active after Captain America was frozen, but the government kept him a secret. They didn't want the public to know. And after they were done, well, after what's his name, Isaiah Bradley served his missions, right? He fought the Winter Soldier. U.S. government pretty much locked him up for years, and then treated him badly, but only let him go recently, you know. So it was kind of nice seeing him out of jail, having a genuine bond with Sam Wilson and Juan Carlos Torres, right? That was actually like a nice. It's kind of like some brotherly, like, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I liked it. And then another thing I liked about this movie is I think General Ross, right? Harrison Ford and Isaiah Bradley. No idea who plays him. I should probably look it up. I don't want to be disrespectful. Carl Lumbly. I'm sorry. So Harrison Ford and Carl Lumbly were pretty good actors. I really liked them as General Ross and Isaiah Bradley. They were like a lot of the scenes they were in. I don't know if it's because they're old and they look old and fragile and soft, but like a lot of times they're in the scene, you kind of feel bad for them. You empathize with them, especially the scenes where General Ross was getting stressed out by the leader, where he's dealing with all these conflicts in his ear. He's getting blackmailed by the leader and he's just stressing out, having these panic attacks, you know. He doesn't know what to do. You just feel so bad for him, you know. He's just like an old man, even though he's kind of shady, you know. You don't like seeing him in pain. And then with Isaiah Bradley, the scenes where he's in jail crying, I don't want to be here, you know, I don't know what's going on. Oh my god, bro, I just felt so bad for him. I don't know if, like I'm saying, I don't know if it's because he's old. I don't know if it's because he's fucking looks all soft and cuddly, but I genuinely felt bad for him during those scenes, you know. I took empathy for them, or I had empathy on them, I'm sorry. Okay, that's pretty much it. Now, onto the bad, right? So, something that I didn't like about this movie that I thought was kind of dumb is Sam Wilson as Captain America. And if I'm being 100% honest, Sam Wilson is not Captain America, bro. I'm so sorry, but he's not, dude. There's so many better options for Captain America. Or I feel like Bucky Barnes could have been Captain America. John Walker is a better Captain America. Even Isaiah Bradley, like I wouldn't mind seeing a young Isaiah Bradley as Captain America. And then they even had a Braddock, what's his name, James Braddock or some shit, Captain Britain, right? And the Red Guardian. So out of all the Captain America and Captain America knockoffs, I guess, in the MCU, Sam Wilson is my least favorite, bro. He's ass, dude. People are gonna be like, oh yeah, but Sam Wilson was Captain America in the comics. Like, yeah, dude. But those comics fucking suck ass, bro. Those comics are fucking gay, dude. You know? Where it's like, I don't know. I feel like that's like a point that's brought up, you know? Like, yeah, that might be true that it's in the comics, but it doesn't mean that it's like one of the fan favorites or the most popular shits, right? So I don't know. Like I feel like just because it's in the comics doesn't mean it's justifiable to bring that onto the big screen. But obviously it kind of makes sense. Or actually, not really. Not really. I feel like I took some notes. I took notes about why I thought like Captain America is not like a good Captain America. So I'll probably put him up on the screen. But one of the reasons why I think he's not a good Captain America is because he literally gave up the shield, right? So when Captain America gave him the shield, he said that he felt like he wasn't responsible for it or responsible enough for it and gave it to the government. So he made a willing choice to give up the shield where like Captain America literally said, I want you to be the next Captain America. And he said, I'm good. I'll pass it on to the next guy. And when the next guy had it, he didn't like that. So they fucked him up and took his shit. And then he became Captain America anyways. So I don't know. I feel like out of all the all the Captain Americas and Captain America knockoff super soldiers, all that in the MCU, I think this Captain America, Sam Wilson, is my least favorite. I don't really think he's Captain America. And then another thing that I thought was dumb about this movie were the fight scenes. Honestly, I thought most of the fight scenes were gay as fuck. Like this, I don't know, with the Sam Wilson shit, right? Where like he gets fucking stabbed in the chest, he takes a fucking axe to his stomach and gets fucking shot, and somehow he's still running around and still fucking fighting, dude. Or even the beginning scene, right, where he saves the hostages and then he takes out those soldiers. He does a fucking Black Panther move, right? So not even an original move. Maybe with the wing stuff, I guess. I don't know. And then after that, he fights that guy and ends up getting his ass kicked, right? And this guy's not even a super soldier. He's just some like 6'5", 300-pound dude, which I'm pretty sure he'd fuck all of us up too. But just the fact that Sam Wilson struggled with him, So it's like, imagine if, so he's like struggling with this guy. Imagine if there was 6 other guys with him. Like they would have beat the fuck out of him, They would have fucked him up. He would have lost. Whereas if this was Captain America, he probably wouldn't have struggled at all because he obviously has a super soldier serum. Just hit him once, he's out. Fuck it. So I don't know. And then I feel like it's not really like his he obviously has a shield within the vibranium shit. So it's weird because he has an the Ant-Man helmet. He has the Falcon wings. He has the Black Panther vibranium suit with Black Panther's powers. And it's like probably Stark Tech or some shit, right? So it's like he's pretty much a mashup of all these other heroes with no powers. So he's just a normal human. And the part where he fucking takes a missile head on, warhead, right? And it detonates right on him. And he's cool. And he slashes one with his wing and it explodes. He's cool, right? And then when Joaquin does it, he fucking dies. He fucking like almost dies and shit, right? And then the whole fucking fight scene with Hulk and shit, dude, he should have been dead, right? Like he should have died so many times in that fight. Like just because it's a vibranium suit. And like so it's like anybody in a vibranium suit can just survive against the Hulk, So it's pretty stupid. So yeah, I don't think Sam Wilson is a good Captain America. It makes sense stories wise, but it's pretty gay. He's not the best Captain America. And then another thing that I thought was gay. I've been noticing this about a lot of fucking Marvel movies and shows. Is the fucking taser sticks, bro. I fucking hate that every fucking movie there's like soldiers in bulletproof vests, helmets, and they're up against super individuals who have powers and or enhanced weapons, right? And what do? Hey, instead of pulling out their AR-15s, like, hey, let's go fucking hand-to-hand combat. Let me use my fucking taser sticks on them. And then they always get disarmed and the taser sticks are used on them and they knock out, bro. Like, why does every group of 7 soldiers have fucking taser sticks, bro, instead of guns and shit, It's fucking stupid. It's so dumb. I think it was in Thunderbolts as well. And was it in Fantastic Four? No, I didn't see it in Fantastic Four because there was no soldier fights, right? But yeah, I've noticing like a lot of Marvel movies and TV shows, right? Like there's fucking Captain America in a room with a bunch of soldiers, and instead of pulling out guns and shooting him, they all one at a time they rush him with the fucking taser stick in their hand, bro. That shit's so fucking stupid, dude. And another thing that I thought was gay about this movie was fucking the fucking Jewish Black Widow, dude. I feel like because of the reshoots, she got a lot less screen time than she was originally supposed to get. Because like if you remember the original scene, right, when Isaiah Bradley, or I'm sorry, the scene from the beginning when Isaiah Bradley's like shooting at the president, and she's up against like a fucking 6 foot tall man, right? What does she do? She gets a fucking plastic chair and hits him in the legs, and then hits him on the shoulder, and he's knocked out on the floor, right? And then the part when they're running, Sam Wilson and fucking Enrique Torres are running from the soldiers and shit with the taser sticks. Somehow she's able to come in unarmed and fuck them all up, dude. It's pretty stupid. And then those like, I don't know. It's kind of, I'll get into it later. Actually, I don't want to bring it up here. But yeah, dude, it's pretty stupid. And I feel like she's fucking ugly, bro. Like, I'm gonna be straight up. Like, not to be. I mean, she has like no. She's pretty flat. I don't really. She no ass, no titties, you know. And like, she kind of has an ugly face. Looks kind of old. I'm sorry. I'm not trying to be too mean or anything, you know. But it's just like she's supposed to be like the new Black Widow or something. But I don't know. I thought she was kind of ugly. I didn't really like her. Another thing I thought was gay about this movie is I felt like it was fucking random as fuck, dude. Where it's literally like, okay, one scene is like the president's talking. The next scene is Sam Wilson and Juan Carlos Torres fucking training together. The next scene, they're in a fucking limo partying it up. The next scene, there's a fucking, they're at the White House, you know. And then the next scene is like a fucking meeting. After that is like the shooting and the chasing. And then it just jumps to, now this character is doing this. Now these characters are doing that. Now we're in a different location. Now there's a fight, you know, like, I just feel like it was fucking random as fuck. And yeah, a lot of Marvel movies were like that, but I felt like it was like jumping around and skipping a lot, you know? Where it's like one scene is the president, next is Sam Wilson. Now we're back to the president. Now it's Sam Wilson. Now they're fighting. Now there's a scene, like, now there's a chase scene. You know, it was just fucking random. And it felt like it was kind of like, it looked like it was like patched. I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. I felt like it was like patched together, dude. Like scenes were just patched together. Like at least with other Marvel movies, it was like kind of a progression. Like this happens and then that happens, right? Where this scene was just like the president's doing this, Sam Wilson is doing this, the leader is doing this, you know. But it's not really like any of their actions are like influencing each other or anything like that. It's like they're just doing shit. Like all of them are just doing random shit, you know. I don't know, and I felt like they're all in random locations. Where like one minute they're in the White House, the next they're in Japan, the next they're in the Indian Ocean. Now they're back at the White House. Now there's a fight through DC and they're on the fucking, now they're in the street and shit, you know. So it's pretty weird. And then another thing I thought was gay about this movie was the fucking all the name drops, right? Where fucking they're like, I feel like they were just like unnecessarily shouting people out, right? Like there's one scene where like, oh yeah, General Ross, right? Who's father of Betty Ross, who has not talking to him. And Betty Ross is dating Bruce Banner. And they broke up now, you know? Where it's like, bro, who gives a fuck? There's like a news broadcast and that's what they're talking about. Like the president's literally saying like, hey guys, we might be going to fucking war with Japan, right? And the news is like, oh no, President Ross hasn't talked to his daughter, Betty Ross. And guess who Betty Ross dated? Oh my god, Bruce Banner. You know, it's like, dude, what the fuck? Like, there's more important shit to talk about. So another thing I thought was gay about this movie is I feel like the trailers showed too much, right? Where like the trailers that were released for this movie showed a lot of the Red Hulk shit, the Red Hulk fight scenes, the fucking Isaiah Bradley shit. Where it's like they pretty much showed the whole fucking movie, dude. Where it's like as I'm watching the movie, I'm like, oh yeah, that I seen that in the trailer. Oh, I remember that trailer. Oh yeah, the trailer showed this one. Oh yeah, I remember this scene from the trailer, you know? And then like right before the movie was released, they showed like a huge portion of like the Red Hulk versus like the Captain America shit, right? And I feel like a lot of the hype around this movie, a lot of the shit that they kind of propped up, they used to like prop it up was like the Red Hulk reveal, right? That President Ross was gonna come out as Red Hulk. Where I feel like since they kind of like built the hype and the trailers around that, the fact that Red Hulk would be appearing in this movie, it kind of took away from the fact like when it was revealed in the movie, you know, because it's like Because it's like the whole movie is fucking President Ross trying to maintain his stress levels and his anger because he's trying to keep his country from going to war with another country. He's trying to prevent a coup from within his own cabinet, right? Or like an uprising or whatever, rebellion, an assassination, right? And at the same time, he's being blackmailed by some sort of criminal who's like gonna reveal his like secrets and expose them, right? So he's dealing with a lot of shit. He's under a lot of pressure. He's under a lot of stress. So the whole movie is him just trying to deal with his stress, deal with his anger, and it's like obviously we know why, right? Because if he fucking gets mad, he's gonna turn into Red Hulk. Because the movie literally, the traders told us, the PR team or whoever the fuck revealed it like so many times, and they said it so many times, you know, or it's like not even a secret anymore. We're like, imagine if nobody knew that Red Hulk was gonna be in the movie, and then they're talking about, oh yeah, President Ross, your heart medication, you know, you got to keep your stress levels down. We're like, oh shit, he's old, dude, he has heart problems, you know. I mean, obviously he's a fucking Red Hulk in the comics, so people are gonna know, but it's like would have been more of a surprise for casual movie watchers, right, to know that the whole time President Ross is trying to maintain his stress levels because if he gets mad, it's not because his heart is gonna be affected, it's because he's gonna turn into a fucking red, gayer, weaker version of the Hulk, right? So it's pretty, I don't know, it's pretty dumb. Um, and then I mean the movie, I mean it was okay. The movie wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, right? I thought the movie was gonna be fucking gay, dude. And it turns out, okay. So I thought the movie Black in America, Brave New Minority, was gonna be fucking gay, but after watching it, it was just gay. It was just gay, you know. So it wasn't fucking gay. It was just gay. Um, and I feel like something that kind of helped. Same thing as I said about Ironheart, right? Because I did the review of the Ironheart first. I did a review of Ironheart first, right? I feel like because of all the reshoots and shit, right? Because how many times did they change the fucking title of the movie, right? First it was like it was Black in America, New World Order, right? And then it was fucking Black in America, Resisting Arrest, and then now it's Black in America, Brave New Minority. And how many reshoots and delays like did they fucking do on this movie, or did it have, you know? Like kind of like I was saying, it's kind of felt like kind of patchy, or it felt like a bunch of scenes kind of stitched together, not really like a coherent like plot, I guess. So I feel like that's because of the reshoots, but I also feel like it kind of helped out a little bit because I feel like because of the reshoots, right, we got a lot less of fucking Jewish Black Widow, a lot less of fucking the fucking black camel spider, right? So we got a lot less of the fucking Jewish Black Widow, and then wasn't as woke as I thought it was gonna be. I thought it was gonna be like everyone's black in this movie, everyone's gay, but it was actually okay. It wasn't too woke or anything like that. So I feel like the movie wasn't woke because of the reshoots, but it also wasn't good or wasn't the best because of the reshoots, right? So it was a double-edged sword. It was like a hit and a miss, I guess. I don't know. It was a hit and a miss. Yeah, that's the best way to no, it wasn't a hit. It was like I don't know. It was like, fuck, satisfactory, right? I guess I would give this movie a solid C plus. I don't know. And then another thing that I thought was gay about this movie is all the production rumors, right? So kind of like I was saying, reshoots and shit. And then I don't even want to look up the fucking articles or anything like that. But there's like it was like kind of alleged, right, that Anthony Mackie was getting fucking pissed off because of all the reshoots. And at one point they had everybody filming, and then they had no script. So they were just filming scenes with no script at all, right? Months before the movie was supposed to be released or whatever the hell. So then Anthony Mackie threw a tantrum and said, "What the fuck are we even doing, dude? Like, we're just literally filming without a script." And then he was throwing some sort of tantrum. He was kind of getting mad or whatever, right? And who could blame him? And then after that, there's also rumors that Anthony Mackie kind of wanted to add a love scene or a love storyline between him and Black Widow, right? And it ended up getting denied. And then you're thinking like, oh yeah, dude, like fucking Scarlett Johansson, right? Like, imagine him and Scarlett Johansson having like, like if you're like Anthony Mackie, you'd want to do that too, right? If I was fucking the new Captain America. Oh wait, hold on, give me 1 second. Okay, sorry. You're like, dude, if I'm Captain America, I want to do a love scene between me and Black Widow, right? Who wouldn't? But then it turns out it's not Scarlett Johansson, it's the fucking Jewish Black Widow, right? Like, what the fuck? Like, the fucking black camel spider? Dude, what the fuck? She's ugly, dude. So it's like, what the fuck? This guy must have been down bad, bro. If you wanted a fucking love scene or a love storyline between him and Black Camel Spider. So damn, dude. Black in America was fucking thirsty, bro. So that was kind of weird. So if I had to compare this movie, right, to previous Captain America movies, obviously it's fucking ass, bro. I feel like all the Captain America movies were really good, and they just kept on getting better. And then this one was just mediocre compared to them. So it wasn't the best Captain America movie, I would say. Wasn't that good compared to the other Marvel movies. I think Blacktain America 4 is better than Fantastic Four. But I think Thunderbolts is better than Blacktain America 4, right? So I think Blacktain America 4 is like better than Fantastic Four, but less than Thunderbolts. Was that what I said? I think I said that, right? I can't, dude. I'm sorry. I'm a little drunk. I'm a little high. I think I said that. But yeah, so it wasn't as bad as I thought it was gonna be, but it wasn't the best thing either. It was kind of a whatever's movie. It was okay. Actually, it was kind of bad. I don't know. So yeah, I thought that movie was fucking gay. I didn't really like it, and that's pretty much it, I guess. So make sure you check out my Stoner Talk podcast, right, that I recorded with myself and Brian. And also make sure you check out my music, 0 likes, 0 plays, 0 followers, out now on all streaming platforms. And my newest album, Refined NapesCape and Girly Pop, which can only be found on my Stoner Talk podcast YouTube channel. And if you made it this far, you're a fucking bitch. Peace out, bitch.